Coping with COVID. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. It's brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. Visit scdheck.gov for an updated list of testing sites and important information on how to protect yourself, your family, and friends from the coronavirus. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In it together and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, presenting Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Log on to columbiasc.net/OBO. Agape Counseling and Training Services. Call 803-779-2777 for licensed professionals of counselors and social workers helping families, engaged and married couples, and individuals of all ages gain an understanding of all aspects of their lives. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, contact Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. And Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID, brought to you by SCDHEC. In it together, the Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Center, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Thank you so much for joining us on Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Well, the pandemic has caused an increase of people starting their own business. That's awesome, right? But what if you don't have everything you need? Have you considered partnership? Well, we'll talk to one person who has successfully had a partnership venture, and then we'll also speak to Savannah Wilborne. She joins us from the SBA. She's going to share information on how to partner and give us all the information we need to know if we're getting ready or thinking about starting a small business. Savannah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to Savannah and so much more coming up next on Coping with COVID. But first, your COVID community updates. Most area schools are going virtual due to the pending wintry weather. Richland School District 1, Richland 2, also Lexington Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, plus schools in Sumter, Newberry, Lee, Kershaw, Fairfield, and Clarington 2 have all switched to virtual for tomorrow. Now, check Google Classrooms. Many schools are utilizing that for student assignments. USC has also closed all on-campus classes tomorrow due to the threat of inclement weather. Check with your school district for up-to-date information. Meanwhile, the governor has declared a state of emergency for South Carolina due to the winter storm expected Friday and Saturday. Now, the order makes way for state agencies to coordinate resources, allows for easier transport of goods and services, and puts the state price gouging law into effect. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and locations for COVID testing, COVID vaccinations, and also flu vaccines. Visit scdheck.gov. Several area vaccine clinics are open and available to get your vaccine and test. Columbia Mall has a vaccine clinic open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's located again on Two Notch Road in Columbia, and they're open for COVID testing, COVID vaccinations, and also flu shots. COVID vaccines are also being done at the VA for all veterans. If you are a veteran, check with the VA for more information. Also, COVID vaccines are being held at several retail outlets, including Kroger pharmacies. CVS is offering vaccines, including those located in Target stores. And also, Brooklyn Baptist Church has a 7-day-a-week vaccine clinic that is also open. Also, Walgreens, I forgot to mention Walgreens. Walgreens also is open and available for vaccines. Now, don't miss your shot. If you are having some challenges getting to your vaccine appointment, you can get a free ride on the Comet. Additionally, you can get your vaccine at the Comet bus system, their main location on the corner of Sumter and Laurel Streets, again in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, if you are a little technically challenged or senior citizen, Get Set Up is helping folks make their COVID vaccine appointments. They can contact the number on the screen for more information. There are several financial resources, including FEMA is assisting people if you have had a family member or friend that passed away from COVID-related illnesses. You may be able to get a reimbursement. That information is on the screen. The South Carolina Bar Association and SC Legal Services has a toll-free number and website for rental and mortgage help. And Lexington County has a bill assistance program. SC Housing and Dominion Energy have a rental assistance and utilities assistance program, and SC Housing additionally has a frontline workers home buying program. SC Hopes has a 24-hour assistance line from the South Carolina Department of Mental Health. So listen, if you know someone who is having a challenge coping with COVID, please contact SC Hopes. You're watching Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. We are streaming live on the TaylorMade production page on Facebook. That's the home of Coping with COVID. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Not only will you be able to watch Coping with COVID Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and first Monday with comedian George Wallace, but you can also get all of your COVID-related updates. We're also streaming live on YouTube. I want to say hi to all of you YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit the subscribe button, and on the YouTube page, you can also find past episodes of Coping with COVID. Also, we have a presence on Instagram. Well, Savannah Wilborne is a lender relationship specialist at the Small Business Association. She's responsible for increasing access to capital for small businesses by working with lenders across the state to increase their use of SBA-backed programs. She joins us today to talk about partnerships and how the SBA can help you. Savannah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me, because of what you do, I have to ask, what are the programs, the products, and the resources that are available for small businesses?
So the SBA has plenty of different programs from the startup phase. We can help you with growing your business, expanding your business, and then also what we've seen a lot in the past 2 years would obviously be recovering from a disaster. We have loan programs, we have contracting programs, we have resource partners that can help provide free counseling assistance, and we have a multiple different disaster recovery programs as well.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about disaster recovery first, because obviously COVID hit people really hard. A lot of businesses were affected. Some businesses haven't bounced back yet. Some businesses are bouncing back, thankfully. So what types of resources are available for those companies that still almost 3 years now in to COVID-19? We're in COVID 2022 now. So what can people turn to at the SBA? What kind of resources are available for those who need help with recovery?
So when it comes to the Small Business Administration, the programs that we did have that were for COVID-19 actually just closed out as of December 31st of 2021. However, most businesses did receive an EIDL loan. And if they received an EIDL loan, they are eligible to potentially get an increase up to 2 years after they received that loan or until funding runs out. So, if there's no funds left in that program, then they won't be able to request that increase. But if you are a business that received an EIDL loan, I would definitely suggest taking advantage of that increase because it's a great interest rate of 3.75%. It's a fixed interest rate for small businesses. And nonprofits, it's 2.75%. So you're not going to get a business loan for that low. And then it's a 30-year term as well. So it would just be an increase on that existing loan that you have.
Right. Now, what about folks who are maybe trying to now start a business? Because as I said in the open, one of the things I think that has really been a consequence of COVID is people losing their job or losing their business, but seeing an opportunity to start another one.
Yeah, we actually have still noticed growth year after year in 2020 and in 2021. So that was still great to see. But we do have different loan programs for startups. I would say that our best loan program would be the micro loan. It goes up to $50,000, and that's done through our micro lenders. So we loan the money to those micro lenders, and then they loan that out to small businesses.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say their focus is startups usually and underserved communities such as minorities, veterans, women-owned businesses. So that's a great program, I would say, for startups.
I was going to ask about that. What about minority businesses, whether it be a minority because of gender or minority because of race? What programs, products are available from SBA?
So all of our loan programs are open to everyone, but we do have certain loan programs that target the underserved communities. And also, I would say all of our loan programs, it is a goal of SBA to make sure that we are reaching all underserved communities. But I would say that the best two loan programs for that would be the SBA microloan program. And then we also have what's called the Community Advantage Loan Program that goes up to $250,000. Also a great one for startup if you're trying to get a building, if you're trying to renovate a building, because a microloan program, you cannot use it for real estate. So if that's something that you need it for, then I would suggest that program as well.
What do businesses need to apply and qualify for these programs, Savannah, from a lending standpoint?
So the most important document you're going to have in the loan process is going to be that business plan. And in that business plan, you're going to have your financials, such as your balance sheet, your cash flow projections. If you're a startup, that is so important. If you've already been in business, then the lender's going to look more at historical cash flow information. But when you're a startup, you don't have that. So getting accurate projections is very, very important. And then also you need a marketing strategy in there in your management plan as well. We do have resource partners that can help write the business plan with you, not for you. And that is free assistance that's funded by the Small Business Administration.
That's great. We are talking to Savannah Wilborne from the Small Business Administration about how to start, how to implement, how to get funding for your business, and some other strategies she's going to share with us. So, Savannah, what about grants? Are there any grants, i.e. forgivable money that's available from the SBA?
So I would have said prior to COVID that was a common misconception, and that SBA doesn't have grants for small businesses. We did have the EIDL advance, the targeted EIDL advance, the supplemental EIDL advance, the shuttered venues grant, and the restaurant revitalization fund. Those were all, and then obviously the Paycheck Protection Program, which was a forgivable loan as well. We don't have any of those open now, unfortunately. They did close as of December 31st. But I would say that if you did apply for the targeted advance, you may still be able to be considered for a reevaluation on that. So feel free to contact our office and we can see if you could still request that.
Right. So, Savannah, do you think this is a good time to launch a small business? I mean, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And as I said, there are a lot of people who felt like, okay, I have to shift. I've got to do something, so some people have started, some people are successful, some people are not as successful. Is this a good time to launch a business?
I would say that it's always a good time to launch a small business, but you have to do the appropriate research. So obviously right now things have changed, as you said. So it's just making sure that that business can still be viable in today's market and how, things are going now. A lot of things are going to virtual. A lot of people don't want to be in crowded rooms. So just think about the type of business that you're doing and, is there still a market for that? Are you going to have customers that still want to buy that product or service? And that's why that business plan is so important, because the resource partners that we fund that can help you with that will do the research with you to make sure that you still have the market, that you can still make the funding that you need to become profitable or to even just break even for now in the first year.
Right. Yeah, you talk a lot about, technology. We are so much more technology driven now because of COVID, because everyone, like we are today, doing things virtually. Are there any programs, classes, anything like that help small businesses get up to date on the technology so that they can kind of compete?
That would actually be something great to think about for the future. But I would say that we have tons of different workshops and trainings, and we are virtual right now as well. Some of our resource partners provide virtual trainings on all types of topics in regards to small business startup. I wouldn't be surprised if they had something along those lines. I haven't seen that recently, but they do have trainings on utilizing certain software such as QuickBooks and how you could still market your business online. So I would definitely check out our website, which is sba.gov/SC. And we have all of our resource partner events on there. We have events through our office. And we also do have a learning center on our website that has on-demand courses. And you might be able to find something there that would fit those needs.
Okay. So it's SBA. If we can get that information up, the SBA website. People want more information. It is sba.gov/SC if you are in South Carolina. Savannah Wilborne joins us from the Small Business Association. And she administration, I keep saying association, administration, and she is just sharing with us some information we need. I do want to mention to the viewers and want to thank Mitchell Peace Joy Jen for watching and for saying great information. Thank you so much, Mitchell. Please post and share this information out so we can get the message to the masses. So many people that are interested in starting or launching or moving forward with their small business. And this is some great information we're sharing today. I do want to remind you guys that scrolling at the bottom of the screen, so many resources are available, including some of the financial resources, the COVID resources that I mentioned at the beginning of the show when we were doing the public service announcement. So that information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen in case you need it. What about certifications, Savannah? We know that there are different not only certifications, but I guess associations that people need to, like to register with the city, to register with the state, those kind of things. Can you talk a little bit about certifications that are beneficial for small businesses?
Sure. So the first thing you need to think about is whether or not you plan on doing business with whatever that entity is that you want to get certified with. For example, with SBA, we are mainly focusing on federal certifications. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the federal government even buys your product or service that you offer. If they do, then I would definitely suggest, getting registered and getting certified if you qualify. So we have 4 different certification programs with the federal government. We have the Hub Zone, which stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. These are areas that need some more economic development. We also have the 8A Business Development Program, which is a 9-year program that is geared more towards socially and economically disadvantaged individuals.
Is that ADA? You said ADA?
8A.
8A. Okay.
8A. Yep. So socially would be our minorities, and economically disadvantaged would be, having a net worth under a certain threshold.
Okay.
And we also have the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned certification. So if you have at least a 0% disability from the VA, you can qualify for that certification. And then we also have the Women-Owned Small Business Certification. So the federal government sets aside they set aside certain contracts for those certifications. So if you are certified under that, not only can you potentially bid after contracts that are set aside for small businesses, but you can also bid on those contracts that are set aside for those certifications.
Now how do you get? Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You were probably going to answer the question that I was going to ask next.
No, I think I know where you were going with that. Yeah. So, I was just going to say, you make sure that you own at least 51% of the business. You have to own and control 51% of the business. So if it's a women-owned business, you have to, own and control the majority of the business. And I'm thinking that you were going through the route of how can you go and get certified?
Yeah.
Yeah. So certified.sba.gov would be the website to get certified. And then beta.certify.sba.gov would be the other website to get certified. So those are the 2 certification websites through the SBA, the federal certification programs.
All right. So people log on to those websites, and then I guess just, what will they need? What do they need? What kind of questions will they be asked?
So first, actually, what you want to do before even going to those websites is getting registered in the systems for awards management. And for that, I believe you're going to need your Dun and Bradstreet number and what's called a CAGE number. Now, I am not the subject matter expert on certifications. My responsibility is more on the lending side of the house. But we do have what's called business opportunity specialists in our office, and they can help walk you through that certification process. Our resource partners can also help you with that. So we have 3 of them in the state, the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Center, and SCORE. We also have a Veterans Business Outreach Center in Georgia that assists South Carolina small businesses. And even if you're not in this state, we have resource partners, those same ones, all throughout the nation. Yeah. They can help with those certifications for free. And we also have a Procurement Technical Assistance Center that can help you with bidding on those contracts as well.
Oh, that's so good to know because, a lot of people, just don't know how to navigate these resources. It's one thing to not know about the resources, but then when you know about them and they're just sitting there because you don't know what to do next, it's good to know that the SBA has people available that, small business owners can call on, look to kind of help them navigate through the process.
Yes, exactly. And you'd be surprised how many resources that we have, and they're all free. So I would definitely suggest before paying anybody to help you with bidding on federal contracts, or paying anyone to help you with a business plan, give us a call first. We might have some free or low cost options for you because, as you know, as a small business, it's really important to bootstrap and
Yeah.
try to save that money as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Savannah Wilborne with the Small Business Administration joins us today on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. You can see her information there. She has already given us some great information. If you're just joining us, please hit the replay button and get all of this information. And don't forget to post and share so we can get the message to the masses, because today we're talking about resources that are available for small businesses. Coming up later on in the show, Savannah, we're going to talk to someone who was doing her own business. She was a startup pretty much. And then she linked up, met someone who had an already established business. And then they were able to partner because they needed each other. What do you think about partnerships? What can you say to someone who may be considering a partnership or not even thinking about it, but they're kind of at a standstill in their business?
Well, I would say from a contracting perspective, you definitely want to make sure that you do thoroughly research that partner that you're getting involved with. We do even have partnership, they're called mentor protege programs with federal contracting, where you can either partner up with a larger business or two small businesses can partner together to do one contract. But that is kind of like a marriage. So just make sure that you want to be tied to this other business because your success is going to be also determined by theirs as well. So, thoroughly research that. I think that it can be advantageous, but again, like with anything else, you just got to make sure that it's going to work for you and your business. In some cases, you might be better off trying to do it on your own. But in other cases, like the person that's coming up in this interview, it can be an advantageous opportunity for them.
Yeah. And then, as you said, there are some opportunities that people can look into with the SBA as far as partnering with contracts. I love that because, again, oftentimes you have one piece of the pie, somebody else has another piece of the pie, and by yourself, you can't get the contract. But together, you can qualify and get some great contracts, and then, establish a great relationship, not only for yourself, but for the business. And again, as far as bidding and securing contracts.
Yes. And one other thing I'd like to mention too is that the SBA also has what's called the dynamic small business search. So if you do a particular product or service and you're looking for somebody who does something else so you could jointly bid on a contract together, you may be able to find that person through the dynamic small business search. And you could search for people that have those particular certifications, such as the 8A or women owned. So that might be a good way for you to find a good partner for you.
All right. Savannah Wilborne joins us with the Small Business Administration, and she is sharing with us some great information. You were talking about, before we went on the air, Savannah, about a new initiative that you guys have. You sent us some information about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're very excited about it. It's called the 46 County in 46 Days Initiative. And this is coming about because we have a lot of rural counties in South Carolina, and we want to make sure that we are reaching all of them. We do work with all of them and try to work with all of them, but sometimes in the most rural communities, it's really hard to get our name out there. We're the best kept secret in the federal government. I don't know about now with COVID resources coming out, but we still want to make sure that we're tapping into all those rural communities. And making sure that they're aware of SBA programs and services. So all throughout the month of February and March, we're going to be doing events in each county, at least one event. And we are going to be partnering with our resource partners that service those particular areas. So again, those are the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Center, and SCORE. We're also partnering with local chambers in those particular cities and counties and the local government as well. So we're going to have on our website, which is sba.gov/SC, we're going to have that information for each county event on there where you can register and get that information from SBA.
And then what will these be live or virtual events?
They're going to be virtual events, and we're going to talk about all the different resources that SBA offers. So we're going to dive into federal contracting resources, business startup resources, our lending programs, disaster recovery. And then we're also going to talk about some of those other partners in those particular counties and the services that they offer.
All right, 46 days, 46 counties. Make sure you contact the SBA or definitely log on to the SBA website for more information about this new initiative. What does the forecast look like at Savannah for small businesses in 2022 and beyond?
I think that it's promising. Prior to the pandemic, we saw that small businesses were growing at an exponential rate. So I know that they have suffered, but we are continuing to see small business ownership grow. As of right now, we have about 445,000 small businesses in South Carolina, and that number has grown each year. They're responsible for over 830,000 jobs in the state. So they really are the backbone of the state. And I think that it's going to continue to grow, because who doesn't want to be their own boss and, start the American dream. So I look forward to it. And I hear, more excitement about small businesses starting up every day. It was pretty sad. I'm not going to lie to you, in the past 2 years, listening to businesses, and struggling and about to lose everything. But it's really starting to take a shift now. And we're hearing a lot more about business startup.
Yeah, that's great. Yes. And if people want more information and need help to launch their business, maintain their business, and to partner, and for more information about certifications, please contact the SBA. You can see the information on the screen right now for all types of great resources, programs, lending available, and all of the resources are free. Right, Savannah?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you. So anything else you want to share with us before we leave, Savannah, about the Small Business Administration and opportunities or information for small businesses?
Yeah. The one thing I would like to say is that if you go on our website, again, sba.gov/SC, you can go on there and subscribe for our newsletters. We send out a weekly newsletter that will have all of our upcoming events on there. It'll also have information about upcoming programs, new loan programs, new resources. So I would definitely say follow that. You could follow us on Twitter. Our handle is SBA_S Carolina. Again, we post information about events and upcoming programs on there. And we do have a weekly event called the Ask the South Carolina District Office. That is every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And so you could get on there and ask any questions that you're thinking of. Small business owners also like to share, some of the resources that have made them successful. So I would say definitely join us for that every week.
All right. Daniel Lake says, thanks, Savannah. You've given loads of information. Thank you, Danielle, for watching. Thank you, Mitchell Peace Georgian, for your comments. And Savannah, thank you so much. Like Danielle said, you've given so much great information, and we encourage you, the viewers, to post and share this information so we can get the message to the masses about the Small Business Administration. Thank you again, Savannah. I appreciate you. Happy New Year.
All right. Thank you. And same to you. And good luck to all the businesses, too.
Thank you. Savannah Wilborne is with the SBA, or for more information, you can see her information on the screen. And coming up next, a partnership success story, 2 small businesses that have made it work. We'll talk to them next on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor.
The Comet gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there and just gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comedy is our livelihood.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday lives. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Aiken-Cochran. As Miss America, I know that taking care of yourself is important. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
Visit Davis Tax Service today, 803-419-1001.
Hey there, I'm Tre Tailor, and we are live at Haiku Coffee. You're watching Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Thank you so much for joining us. Monifa is here with us, and she has launched Haiku Coffee. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Really so listen, when we met, we were just talking before we started.
Okay.
You know, you were a bartender at the hot club, Mr. B's. So how do you go from bartender to Coffee Maven?
You know what? It's a more streamlined than I thought.
Yeah.
So when I was bartending, as you know, I was also hosting poetry at Mr. B's. I was always a spoken word artist, stepping up on stage, and after the spoken word events, I would always invite people to my house, and we would always have coffee. We'd have cake. I would cook. I
wasn't invited to that, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So
and we would eat and stuff like that.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So you were into coffee even back then.
Even then. Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what is it about coffee as opposed to tea? I'm a tea girl.
Oh, for me, coffee is just a science. It's a science. It's like I love to drink coffee. I used to always love to buy different coffees, and then when I learned how to roast in November of 2020. I learned how to roast, and I learned about beans, and I taught myself. YouTube University is beautiful.
Wow, I know, right? You can learn anything on YouTube. You can.
It really is a beautiful science, and now that I know how to eye things and roast enough and do things by eye, it's like cooking. It's like when we cook in the kitchen. Yeah.
So do you like to roast different beans together? Do you like to make your own combinations?
I love to make my own combinations. Right now, I study nothing but African beans. The reason why is when you learn about the beans, everything you think you like came from Africa. The original beans come from Limu, right above Ethiopia. And so every bean that you love from Costa Rica really came from Africa. It was just taken over there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm studying just African beans.
Yeah, we think about Costa Rica for coffee for the most part. But you're saying it originally came from Africa.
Every single bean you've ever tasted originally came from Limu and above Ethiopia and Africa. So I'm just studying African beans right now.
Wow.
I have Tanzanian, Kenyan, and Ethiopian right now.
What's the difference in the flavors?
Ooh. So my Tanzanian, my specific blends that I do, my Tanzanian bean, I tell them it's for company if you're having company. It's coffee if you're having company. Okay. It's like if nobody cares.
Bean?
It's like oh that kind of coffee.
I don't know. But, I went there.
Okay, that would be my Kenyan. My Kenyan is more like it's more personal. It's more like if you have somebody that's coming over and they know about coffee, you want to impress them with the Kenyan bean because it's a more of a robust flavor. The beans are very much, they're earthy and they're beautiful. Tanzanian, I would say, it's a step above tea. Okay. It's like, oh, we have a company over and we're going to do a coffee cake and some coffee.
Yeah.
You know, and then the in between is Ethiopian, which when you do the Ethiopian very dark, man, that thing will punch you in the face.
Wow.
It's a wake you up in the morning coffee.
You said something about coffee cake. Are you starting to cook with the beans now?
Yes, and so I do coffee cake now. I do cookies. We're starting to do chocolate. The Death by Chocolate cake is what I'm doing next week, and that one has coffee inside the cake and in the ice. Yes.
So Mo, how do you go from studying coffee, enjoying it, bringing over family and friends, to then recognizing this could be a business?
So that I can't say anything, but I don't know how religious the group is. That's nothing but God.
Yeah. No, it's your truth. Listen, this is a truth show.
So I lost my husband in 2018. Before he passed away, when we would have open mics and we would invite people over, he would always make coffee. And people would say, "Oh no, we're not having coffee. 10 o'clock at night." He'd be like, "Oh no," and 2 o'clock in the morning, we're still up just talking and drinking coffee.
Because you're up drinking coffee.
Right. And when I did his memorial service that month, I came up with the name that month, and I came up with the social media handles, and I did not one thing. I didn't do one thing. And this pandemic, when they first gave us our first stimulus check, I spent every single dime on equipment to build coffee.
Do you think that when you said you got the social media handles and everything, were you thinking business at the time, or did the spirit just come and say, "Get this"?
Spirit just came and said, "Get this," and I was like, "What are you gonna do with it? Like you don't know how to roast coffee. You don't know what you're doing with coffee," and I just left it alone. I said, "I'll just leave it alone because I don't know what I'm doing." And then it just hit me in 2020 when I first heard that we were gonna get those checks. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna open a coffee business, and I bought my first roasting pan, which was a little hot plate. It took 30 minutes just to roast a half an hour to do a half a pound of coffee. And I now have an 18-pound an hour roaster. I have a big roaster.
Wow.
Yeah, I roast a lot of coffee.
Why haiku?
Because I'm a poet. Haiku is the quickest way to get to any thought. It is 5 syllables on the first line, 7 syllables on the second, and 5 on the third. And so you have to really mean what you're saying when you do a haiku. And for me, that's a metaphor for life. Like if you're gonna do it with the least things that you need, and make sure that you pack a punch when you do it.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Least things, but the biggest impact.
The biggest impact.
I love that. We're talking to Monifa Lemon. She's with Haiku Coffee. We're here in her space that she shares with Judy Etheridge, who does charcuterie. We're going to talk a little bit more about the partnership in a minute. But when I ask you, okay, so you decide, okay, you're going to do the business. What happens after that? What was your first next step? Because you're out at Soda City. Was that the first thing you did?
So the first thing I did was created my website and put all this Christmas baskets together, and it took off
with coffee.
And with coffee in the baskets, and coffee and T-shirts. I have a T-shirt that says "Decaf is for suckers." It was my first T-shirt. It was my first T-shirt, and
I'm a sucker. I take the caffeine. I just can't. The caffeine does a number on my. Keep going to the bathroom. Gotta go to the bathroom.
I know, and people will tell you it's always you see it in their eyes. I'm like, coffee, and they're like, oh no, girl. And I'm like, okay, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to work on expanding out into tea products and things.
Or decaffeinated. Do you do some decaf? No.
Not yet.
It's so funny you say that, because a coffee drinker doesn't like decaf. It's the caffeine that they want.
We don't. And for all the decaf drinkers out there, I'm trying to find a nice green bean that I can roast that's decaf. I just right now, just forgive me. I don't have an excuse. Just forgive me.
But because you know what, even when you eat it, it has the same effect, right? Because chocolate does. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And chocolate covered coffee beans are the best, but Just forgive me. I'm gonna work on it.
I can't do it. All right. So you go out to Soda City, and that's when you are have put together your Christmas baskets. I
put together my Christmas baskets. I started started selling those at home, and then I tried for Soda City, and they said no, too many coffee places. And I was like, what? And they were like, too many coffee places. And I was like, no, I don't sell cups of coffee. I sell coffee beans. I roast coffee beans. And they're like, oh, come on down. We didn't know you roast coffee. So that's how I got my spot. And then I would give out samples.
Everybody else was just
doing drinks. Yeah. And then I was having to give out samples in order for people to buy my bag of coffee.
Of course.
And next thing you know, people started asking me, please, can I pay you for this coffee? Because I want to buy this coffee. Wow. And then I had to go back to Soda City and say, hey, people want to buy
I need to sell some coffee.
I'm sorry, I need to sell some coffee drinks. So that's how I got started. But thank God, our mutual friend, all of our mutual friend, Bonita Clemens, actually linked me up with Judy, and we talked one day.
And Judy was also at Soda City.
Yep, she was also at Soda City doing charcuterie. We had no clue. And we met doing some farming work with Bonita Clemens. We talked about doing something, and then it just sat there. I love the art of like allowing. I love the art of leaving things alone until it's supposed to have
Until it's the right time.
Until it's the right time.
And patience.
Yes.
And timing is so important.
Timing is like 8 months, 6 months later, Judy says, come on down. And come on down and let's talk. And we sat down and we talked and we made this deal where I do the coffee side and pastries. She does the charcuterie and the sandwiches and the hot foods, and it is a beautiful deal.
That's good.
It's been gorgeous.
So let me ask you this. You said that you guys met, but there was a time before you connected. What do you think needed to happen in the meantime?
I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to this part, Chef J, Miss Judy was getting way more business than I was, and she was building this space. Yeah. And I needed to step up into that space. You know, I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with poetry, I've worked with the arts. I have not done this thing before. And so I needed to build up into this and be able to meet her where she was. And so I think it was a perfect time, because while I'm building my books and I'm knowing exactly how much coffee I'm selling a week, and I'm able to buy enough coffee to roast hundreds of pounds of coffee. When I started, I couldn't have stepped up to this. Yeah. So it wasn't time at all.
Yeah.
And
now's the time.
And now's the time.
Now's the time. So you're here with Judy. You guys are on Park Lane. It's the shopping center. What's the name of the shopping center?
I don't know the name of it.
It's where DMV is.
It's where the DMV is. 224 O'Neill Court,
224 O'Neill Court.
Right where the DMV is.
Right. So what do you offer here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we have the coffee here. We've got coffee. We've got tea. I do lattes, mochas, cappuccinos, all kinds of stuff. And we have beautiful freshly made cookies, decorative cookies, pastries, Danish muffins, coffee
cake. That you're all making.
I'm making, yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Is everything coffee based?
No. No. Most of it is just pastries, just regular pastries. If I have something that's coffee based, I make sure that I say it, because we have people that can't do that. Yeah. And then on the other side, we have charcuterie trays and boxes. Chef J is the most beautiful charcuterie artist I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, me too. And I am a believer, because I patronize her.
That's right. So, yeah. She does beautiful food on the inside and out.
She does.
She does sandwiches. She also has a service where she cooks sides and does meal prep.
And she does that for me too.
Yeah.
She does that for me too.
Before Trey got here, she was finishing up first.
Because I have the kids and I'm so busy.
Yes.
And I don't eat meat. So she does my, like today I have sweet potato medallions. I have she has a mixed zucchini and squash that I like, green beans. The kids love the carrots, stuff like that. And she does meat too. I just don't eat it. So
I wish y'all were here to smell it, because Trey's sweet potatoes, the aroma of Trey's sweet potatoes is beautiful today. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is gorgeous.
Monifa Lemons joins us. She's with Haiku Coffee. We are talking to her about how she started this business and specifically about partnerships. Ooh. And Monifa, what do you think is the benefit of your, being able to partner? Because I think sometimes, partnership is a good thing. One, we got to find the right partner, but two, we've got to trust. And I think so many times we are afraid to share And then we miss out on a blessing.
Absolutely. There's a part of this that has, everybody has had to be vulnerable in this partnership. Everybody's had to put what they know on the table.
Yeah.
You know, it's as simple as us passing each other's passwords out for social media. It's as complex as her handing me the key to this building and letting me come in here every day when she's not here and make sure this building is running perfectly.
Yeah.
We really have to sit down and say, what do we need? Write that down and then make sure that the person understands what it is that we need and make sure that whatever we promise we can do to meet together in the middle in a good partnership. And I think that that's what we did. She keeps saying, oh, Mo's exactly what we needed with the patience and the coffee. And I keep saying, well, Chef Jay, I needed all of this, the space and everything. So it works.
Yeah.
It really works.
So do we have to look forward to some events that you may be doing here?
Yes, so in the month of February, y'all look out. We're definitely going to be bringing the poetry back. I used to have a show called The Flow. I'm going to bring The Flow back on the third Sunday this February. We're also going to be having a women's business meetup. That's going to be happening on Sundays. If you check with the Celeb Studios website and Facebook page, we will have our calendar up. It's definitely going to be Sundays. It will definitely be 5 o'clock-ish, so we can get out of here by 7 and get back to our children. That's how I'm feeling, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah. You can check the information on the screen for more information about all the information that Monifa was telling you about. Again, now when are you open? When can people stop by?
So we are here Monday through Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day. We're only closed on Sundays, and we're open for special events on Sundays.
All right. 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Stop by for breakfast, lunch, or to grab a coffee on your way home. Pastries, freshly roasted coffee. Are you roasting every day?
I roast 2 days a week. That's Wednesdays and Fridays. Everything here, whenever you touch it, it's not over a week old. Right. You can't say that about any coffee you pick up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And are you doing different roasts every day?
I do I do different beans every day, but I do mediums on Wednesdays and I do darks on Fridays. If you need lights, you have to order them from me because people don't pick them up,
Yeah.
So that's what it is. But
all right, all of you coffee drinkers and all of you pastry eaters like me, come on down to Haiku Coffee. It's in the Celeb Studio. Judy Etheridge, and if you're familiar with her, she's there in the shopping center on Park Lane. It is across, is that Mobe?
Yes, we're across the street from Legacy.
Across the street from Legacy, and it's in the same shopping center as the DMV. So stop by, get yourself a coffee, check out some of the pastry, and definitely be on the lookout for other great events. I mentioned the women's networking and also the poetry. Those are going to be great. But the most important thing is to support our local businesses. So coming down and do that. Monifa, thank you so much. Congratulations. I am so happy for you. This is so amazing. I was so excited when I heard that you and Judy were coming together to do this. So thank you so much for allowing us to come, and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right.
Absolutely. All right. We'll be right back with more Coping with COVID next. I'm Tre Tailor. All right. Amazing interview with Monifa Lemons Jackson over at Haiku Coffee. Don't forget to stop by the Park Lane location and pick you up some coffee or some pastry. Did you see the little ones that look like girls with the puffs? I'm going to get those for my girlfriends for Valentine's Day, and I'm going to get her to do the colors of their sorority. That's going to be so cool. Listen, if you have a story or initiative that can help someone cope with COVID, please email booking@copingwithtretailer.com. That information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you have a product or service that can help someone cope with COVID, please email copingwithtretailer@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like SCDHEC, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities. In It Together, SC, which presents the Diabetes Action Council. They sponsor Wellness Wednesday. Also, we're sponsored by the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, Attorney Byron Gibson. They sponsor every second Thursday with No Justice, No Peace. Palmetto Media Connections, Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Shout out to Daniel over at Dutch Square Mall. He does all of our technology stuff. The Comet Bus System, Black Pages, Black Expo. Agape Counseling and Training Services. and also Palmetto Painting Services. Listen, as always, I leave you with a reading, a spiritual reading. We've been doing a Conversations with God from Cheryl Mims Williams. These are based on some of her journal entries and scriptures, some of her favorite scriptures. This says, because you have been faithful in little, I know you will be faithful in much. I will pour out my blessings, Jesus says, upon you, that you will not have room enough to receive. Trust me with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me, and I will direct your path. I am the Lord your God, and there is no other. You are growing spiritually, and blessings shall be upon you 100-fold. Everything is working out for you, even if you don't see it with your eyes. I am working behind the scenes for you. That is your spiritual reading today. Conversations with God from Cheryl Mims Williams from Agape Counseling and Training Services. I'm Tre Tailor. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow, we're going to talk with a sister with the Black Experience podcast. She's going to tell us about how and why she started her podcast and all of the great businesses all around the world that she's had an opportunity to showcase. Until the next time, I'm Tre Tailor. Hey, stay well, be careful, get your vaccine, get your flu vaccine, get your booster shot, and don't forget to wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. It's brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. Visit scdheck.gov for an updated list of testing sites and important information on how to protect yourself, your family, and friends from the coronavirus. SCDHEC, healthy people, healthy communities. In it together and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, presenting Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Log on to columbiasc.net/OBO. Agape Counseling and Training Services. Call 803-779-2777 for licensed professionals of counselors and social workers helping families, engaged and married couples, and individuals of all ages gain an understanding of all aspects of their lives. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, contact Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. And Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID, brought to you by SCDHEC. In it together, the Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Center, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.